The Hawks, big win last night, keeping the Chicago Bulls at bay, keeping the Toronto Raptors at bay. They took care of business last night against a Washington Wizards team that wasn't playing anybody. No Kristaps Porzingis, no Bradley Beal. Daniel Gafford was the most annoying player for the Wizards last night because he was just dunking all the time. But nonetheless, Hawks got the win. The Braves, home opener today. Truist Park about to be lit tonight, y'all. Tweet at me if you're going at _Dylan Mathews. Let me know what your game day routine is when it comes to heading out to Truist Park, hitting the Battery, and going to a Braves game. So, home opener today for the Atlanta Braves. They had a getaway day yesterday. They took down the St. Louis Cardinals for the sweep, 5-2. Matt Olson, his mini slump is over. We'll get into that in Around the A. Let you hear some highlights. And then at 5:40, we're going to talk about these playoff implications for the Atlanta Hawks because they did clinch a play-in spot. They can no longer outright make the playoffs. The Brooklyn Nets clinched that last night with a win over the Detroit Pistons. So the Hawks will be in the postseason. Technically, they have to still fight their way into the playoffs, but they will be in the postseason. They clinched a play-in spot last night. So we'll get into that. We'll get into how they can still get to the 7th seed. Again, it's a little maybe far-fetched at this point with only 2 games left. We'll go over what Miami, the team in front of them, has coming up these last 2 games of the season. We'll go over what the Hawks have coming up the last 2 games of the season. But to kick things off right now, I do want to talk about just the overall performance of the Hawks last night because I think it was good. I think they had a good performance last night. Again, I'm not saying this is anything to get excited about because you took care of business. You did what you were supposed to do. And they don't hand out awards for that. You just took care of business. But Trae Young looks good. 25 points, 16 assists, 4 turnovers. Not bad. Assist to turnover ratio when you're dishing out 16 of them guys. DeJounte Murray, good game as well. Efficient, 8 of 13 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. The 3-point was falling last night for the Atlanta Hawks, and it started falling early. 43% from 3 for the Hawks last night, 51% from the field. Good shooting last night from the Hawks. John Collins was 3 of 4 from 3. He finished the game with 23 points. Sadiq Bey had a solid 10. He hit 2 threes. DeJounte Murray, like I said, hit a 3. Trae Young hit a 3. AJ Griffin done found that 3-point stroke again. I see you, young buck. He done ran through that wall now. 4 of 6 from 3 last night, 16 points. And how about Jalen Johnson again? I'm telling y'all, I think he's starting to figure it out. He's starting to play with confidence. That time, too. And I hate that AJ wasn't getting as many minutes as he usually does. But when Jalen Johnson was getting the bulk of the minutes, now him and AJ are kind of splitting. They both got 23 minutes exactly last night. But when Jalen Johnson was getting the bulk of the minutes over AJ Griffin, I think that really helped him. I think Quinn Snyder has really instilled some confidence in Jalen Johnson. And you can tell he's just going out there and playing confident. He's going out there and playing like he knows he belongs in the NBA. He knows he's good enough to play with Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins. He knows he belongs on the NBA floor, and he's showing that now on both ends of the court. He's playing well defensively, too. 8 rebounds last night. Was the beneficiary of some steals. Got some breakaway jams. That dude got bounced, too. Like, he looks like he floats up in the air. Like, if he wanted to, he could probably get his head above the rim. That's how athletic he is. Because last night when he was dunking some of those balls, I was like, yo, it didn't even look like he tried to jump. And he just got up there. So, very welcoming scene to see Jalen Johnson playing how well he is right now. And that's we're starting to get that consistency. We've seen it in flashes from Jalen Johnson up to this point, but now we are starting to see it consistently. He's put a stretch of games together where he has performed very well. So if you start to get A.J. Griffin back right, Jalen Johnson performing well on a consistent level, they both had 16 last night, you can start to get those guys contributing the way they are off the bench. Whoo-wee! It's going to be scary. But again, the key for this Hawks team is and will be for the rest of the season, say it with me, consistency. So they did break a streak last night, though. Got to give them a shout out. Got to give them a congratulations. Coming into this game, it had been 32 or 33. Bob Rathman said 32 on the broadcast. I think he was one short, but I ain't going to question the great Bob Rathman. He said 32. I thought it was 33. But anywho, they had been 32 or 33 games where they were either a game below 500, at 500, or a game above 500. They broke that streak last night. Now they're 2 games above 500. It's the little things in life, man. It's the little things. So the Hawks get to 41-39. They get the win at home last night in State Farm Arena. Only one game left in State Farm Arena. This Friday against the Philadelphia 76ers. So if you haven't had a chance to go see the Atlanta Hawks yet, wake up, smell the coffee, and go to State Farm Arena on Friday. So you can at least see your Hawks for one game this year. Hopefully they can move up to the 7th seed and you can go see them in the play-in tournament. And then you can go see them in the playoffs because hopefully they win that play-in tournament game and make it to the postseason. So hopefully you'll have more opportunities. But just in case, go see them on Friday. All right. Before we get to a break, I want to let you hear from Quinn Snyder a little bit. Coming up in about 9 minutes, we'll let you hear more from Quinn Snyder in Around the A. But I do want to get to this one cut. This is Quinn Snyder talking about how he's not celebrating this win, and he knows it's been 3 straight wins, but he's not celebrating it like that.
Yeah, I'd like to not get too excited about 3 in a row, but I do think that our guys should feel good about some of the progress that we've made in a few areas. I think really playing better offensively, spacing better, executing more connected, really helps our defense.
And they were looking solid defensively. Getting their hands in passing lanes. People were doing a good job switching, communicating. So things are starting to click a little bit for the Atlanta Hawks. And while we're talking about things starting to click, John Collins actually talked last night, and he was talking about how things are starting to come together when you talk about Quinn Snyder's offense and what Quinn wants these guys to do. Here's John Collins on things starting to come together when he talk about what Quinn Snyder's trying to implement.
It never happens as fast as we all like it to, but I feel like some of his words, his emphasis on what he wants us to do offensively and defensively is starting to rub off. Not something we can just put in overnight, but as we've been seeing, slowly starting to implement more of just him into our system, into our organization. So it's nice to see it paying off and gelling and flowing well, and we're going to continue to follow Coach.
And I agree with JC. The ball moved a lot better these past 2 games. The ball moved better with Trae Young in there. And I know at times, this is not a slight on Trae Young. He's a ball-dominant player. But even with Trae Young in there last night, the ball was moving. The ball was flowing. The ball never really got stuck, in my opinion. And there was constant ball movement throughout the entirety of the game. It wasn't just one quarter. It wasn't just one half. It was the entire game. The ball movement was solid. So, encouraging signs. And look, I'm not saying the Atlanta Hawks are about to go on a 2021 type of run. I would love them to. But again, I am trying to be an adult here and understand that I have a toxic relationship with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm not trying to get my hopes up. They're not finna reel me back in that easily. Okay? They done play with my emotions too much this year. I'm not finna let them reel me back in that easy, okay? I gotta see it for a few more games. I'm like Quinn Snyder. I'm not getting excited about no little 3-game winning streak. You go out and beat Philadelphia on Friday, then you go out and beat Boston on Sunday, even though Boston might be resting some guys, so you probably should win that game anyway if they're resting guys. But anywho, I need to see more before I get excited again.